Hello, hello. Okay. So the project has Git submodules, among which cwds, which is responsible for reading the libcwd.rc file, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I hope so. Well, otherwise we have to add this support to libcwd itself. I thought readrc is part of this, however. No, we'll call readrc here. This is called set state for each debug channel. So that's just the in RAM read access memory. Read. I don't know. How do you say that in English? RAM? Yep, readrc file is definitely it. Not highlighted though. So maybe it is part of, yeah, probably part of libcwd. Icon type. Finally, we have it. Extern RC file, class type, and then we call read on that. Okay. Just go to this class then. Can't find it. What nonsense is that? This for some reason never works. I have no idea why it doesn't work. It's part of S. ctag should be doing this. cd builder, ctags, blah blah blah. Those files. That should totally work. It says that it exists in this file with the regular expression clause RC file. Brace open, end of line. Oh. So then why does that not work? No text file. Oh, god, I can't read or what? Yeah, I can't read. Text file is set to repo base object dir tags. That should be built there. We have a whole load of them. But then what does it mean with no? I think this is the build there, right? No, this does not exist. See, that moved. It's now called build, probably. Let's go to just the repo base. It's nonsense. Sorry, that should go here. And there's an object there here. Empty. Why? Yeah, see, it's put in build these days. I don't really know if I want it. No, build here is inside the repo base. Yes, yeah, nah, not that you say yes, I want that. Top project, top project's not set here. Oh, top project is depending on where it came from, to make it easy. Nah, I might as well keep this, but then the text file is wrong. See, that this is nonsense. I used to not have a build there. It's something from the last year or something. So instead of using a repo base object there, I should now use a build there. Percentage substitute repo base object dir must be build dir. There we go. Yep, now it works. So here it calls read. And that is doing this thing here. While DCRC file is on, sorry, while it is not on, turn it on. It's kind of a strange thing to do. turn it off once. I thought I had a force on or something. It's probably better than turning it on a random number of times. Like cancelling all offs, but we don't know how many. And then only one off follows. That's not very recursive. The off count is stored in state, and then the off count is set to -1, which means turn it on. So that's what I should call. And then afterward you have to restore that again. So you have to use state off count. That would be this one, restore. Okay. So for each channel I can call just force on. But then we have for each channel we need a different state. Okay. No, there's only one, of course. I only need this state for the RC file there. Not sure what the label here is. Do we have another force on? This one does not pass a label. This one has no label. Oh, this is the debug class time. Not the channel class time. Channel class type always has a label. Okay. Oops. No, I guess it's just a copy then of that. Or is this the same file? cfile.cc? Yeah. No, then by the time we get here, it should be known. Label calls ns initialize with a label, and nobody knows what that is. Ns initialize. Oh, you have it here with label. There is a get label apparently. probably also exists for the character const pointer get label. It's just this must be the label. Also for, well, general class type. Let's use that then here. Something get label. Oh, it's a dot, of course. So our C file is a general class type, and get label is exists for that thing, and it should already be initialized, because this is below the point where our C file is initialized, which happens here in the same unit file. And then our C file is on, and then this, the force on is called on, also on the general class type. Oh, I pass a reference to a state. So this is nonsense. This must be state. And that's better, because now we can restore the state. So if I would immediately want to restore it again, I don't understand why there's a debug here. I mean, isn't this like by definition debug code? See, I'm accessing debug channels without any if-defs. So using debug seems very, very nonsensical, even though it's being done here. Why? No, forget debug. I don't know why it does a bit debug there. So we would want to restore it, and I just call this dot restore, was it? And then what do we pass? We just passed a const reference to state again, so state, and then it is restored. But I don't want to do that here. We want to do that. Yeah, well, somewhere where the RC file is mentioned again. So if the keyword is silent, we turn it off. Just a single off. Silent is off. Then if it is not on, but I turned it on, so this is nonsense. We turn it on, and then obviously, well, this is again what is happening here, you know? I don't know. Keep being amazed about my own stupidity of 10 years ago or 20 years ago. This is 20 years ago. Okay, I guess here. It's turned off. Yeah, force on, and now we turn it off again. But I'm not really turning it off, I just put it back to what it was. Or should it be off? Now what about this? If silent is off, then it should be on. But I'm pretty sure it is on here because I forced it on up here. I don't think this is necessary at all, man. Delete it. Now it starts to make sense. So I force it on. If silent is on, then it is off. And at the end I restore it again to what it was. And then we have, well, we print debug output here only if silent is off. Otherwise we don't. Very good. Okay, now the environment variable. So what is it actually reading? So we have a file here, here's a file, input file stream. So we read from that. It's called rc name dot c string. And what is the name then here? That would be the name of the RC. Of the current class. That is. I don't see a name here. Oh, it's here. Name is determine RC file name. There we go. Can be overridden with the environment variable lib. Oh, you're gotta be fucking kidding me, right? We already have it. I didn't know that. Yeah, well, okay. It already exists. Well, I had a plan to read the one in the home directory though, and then read this one, if it exists, and then just override stuff. So if you don't specify something, then it uses it. It uses the configuration from the previous one. This is another one, current directory. If this thing exists in the current directory, then we use that. Otherwise, we use the home directory. Right. But yeah, it's just a single file anyway. Okay, I'm gonna implement this anyway, I think. So this mdetermine.rc file name is then for the initial one. And then we have to read that. Open, get line, process it, syntax error, otherwise close it. And then here we could do read another one if it exists. So let's call this one then libcwd.rc override. And the reason I didn't see that was because I was looking at or was I not looking at this? The reference manual, configuration environment variables. Yeah, it's just here. It didn't look very well. So I have to update this then. Chapter group chapter environment. Probably in doc. Probably environment. Yeah, it's simple as that. Like every keyword just completely resets the. Some keywords are adding, but that then would not be the case for channels on and off, I guess. must be a link, I guess. That's not about RC file. Yeah, RC file. What the fuck is... why is that downloading? How does one make a link? So I want to link to this page. A link to a chapter, RC file chapter. Chapter RC file, whatever. I have to find out how to do that though. Ref. No. Yeah, it's not code, but I'm using it here for... No, this is code. I think I should use TT or something. Which is not done here, but I might as well call it code. Yeah, something like that. So then in this case, you have to read this one while we just did read another one. So this should be another function then. Or I can just jump back to the same code. Can I reuse the stream maybe? Probably, yeah. I need to set the name here. So you can do, I want to jump back, so just make a for loop. That won't work. So getInf returns a character const pointer, or it might be a null pointer, so I can't assign that to a string. I'll just have to use something like override name. So if not override name, then we're done. What we also done if we get here for the second time. Maybe it should make it a loop that has a size of at most 2. Yeah. If not, then break. If it does not exist, then we're done. Otherwise, we repeat. But so either we are done, or we set the name to an override name. What do you want to jump back at most once? This then opens a name. And probably should just reuse this, the second time around, I mean. So put it before this, yeah. It also needs to exist anyway outside the loop, that variable. And BFD on as well, although I don't think BFD exists anymore. Kind of super old. It's really weird. I think they should just remove the DC BFD completely. Okay, so what do you have? You just read it as usual. And then this is not set, so we're done, and then we do everything as usual. But if it is set, then we assign name to be the override name, and then we open that file. And now we read that line by line. And then we have again syntax error here. Receive file name, lines read, syntax error. Perfect. That is if lines read. Well, lines read is going to be okay. That's set again here. And syntax error is also set to false. So that works, okay. So we are, what, really? 20 years ago, and I did that. It's so weird. It feels like the way I code now feels like the only way, and it feels like I've been doing that my whole life. And then I look at old code and I see all kinds of things that I think, what? Did I do that in the past? So yeah, someone doing C++ for 10 years still can't code, clearly. I barked for half an hour, quite fast as well. My lungs are still recovering. That's why I have to cough. Okay, this is just some horrible decoding. If we encounter the keyword silent, then we just use that for the current RC file. That is, if we encounter a silent on, then we turn off our DCRC file if it is on. Now suppose the previous file already had a silent is on, then RC file is already off, so no problems there. And to continue, just reads the next line. Okay. But if the value is off, then now suddenly we do need to handle that. Did I actually check for the value off here? No, probably should save it. Let's write this to disk. Git diff. Oh, the indentation changed. Yeah, I did compare it literally. Okay. So now it can happen that we encounter an off while RC file is already turned off, but silent off is the opposite, so now you have to turn it on again. In that case, I'm going to do the opposite. Not a while. A while is never necessary. It's at most turned off once, so just one on should be sufficient here. They're recursive, so we call off twice and I have to call on twice, but since we only do it once here, it was on and then we turn it off, so there is only one off, and therefore if now it is not on, then one on should be enough to turn it on again. And end set. Okay, now I don't use M at all here. These days I use this for private members. That's what I currently use. I think I used to do this and then I switched to this, and not even a few years ago only I switched to this. Yeah, I'm not going to change that now. Anyway, the M then means that it is a member variable. If M end set, what does it mean? Whether or not libcwd RC file name is set. Oh yeah, okay. So the environment variable was set. That environment variable was set. Print a delayed message. Okay. Saw that before. So it's printing that particular thing here. Yeah, well, I guess I could do that also for the other one now, the new one. Pretty sure that this is only called from that one. Damn it, mouse. It's only called from there. Yeah, it's not only called from there. It's called from here. Determine RC file. Okay, so what I'm going to do is Want to know which one. Okay, but this prints a MRC name here. I can't do that either anymore. I now have to pass the name then also. It's called value, the value of the thing. Oh, there's a character const pointer, not a string. No, it's gonna create a temporary from that then. This should still compile. Yep, okay. Which means that I have to reset this to true if I encounter or reset. I have to set it to true. Either reset or set it for the first time if we switch to the other environment variable. Which then happens at the end here. Or, well, here, basically. Okay, so now I get following. If I encounter a GDB, then GDB bin is valued, so it's overridden. But suppose I do not encounter GDB. So I think we handled silence, right? And that's like the first thing. The second one is a keyword GDB. Now suppose we don't get GDB, then this value is just left alone. It's the only place where it's even used in the whole file. Same for xterm. It's either set or not, and if it's again set again in the second one, it's overridden because there's only one file. Channels default. Okay, that might be more complicated. Do we have any other thing to look at? Channels toggle. Channels on and channels off. Unknown keywords. Warning on. Not warning on. Turn it on. I think we should use force again here. Let's do it the correct way. Well, correct. I mean, it's still not exception safe, but that's what the force on is for. Of course, officially I would have to make an object where this is done in the destructor and this is done in the constructor. So we just create an object here, passing DC warning, and then the destructor, if you leave the scope, it's reset again. But yeah, let's assume that it's not throwing an exception in the middle, so that this will work then. I'm not 100% sure that DC warning is already initialized here though. Or it should be, right? Our C files read after main. So yeah, DC warning is defined. So we can just call get label on it. Let's see. Now this also should work because it just prints name and name is changed. The rest as well, everything, yeah, no problem there. What is exactly the meaning of the channel's default? I should have documentation of that somewhere. Is that not, is that example thing? Tutorial. There was something in the documentation. Oh, this is in documentation. Yeah, I should do that here. I'm not sure that this is what I'm looking for. This is the default. Okay, there is something here that explains what it means. Silence, turn all channels off by default. Ah, okay. Yeah, okay, you can definitely overrule that. So that should be, that is just a single boolean which should be on or off, and I guess whatever it is. Now what is this? Toggle, turn on, channels matching these masks. This must be a comma-separated list of channel label masks that will be matched case insensitive against the labels of the channels. So it just changes it from on to off or from off to on. Extremely never used. I suppose toggle should have the meaning here as still just exactly the same meaning. It should just toggle it, independent. I mean, if it's set in the previous RC file, then we toggle it. No reset. And if you do an off, I think that also should just turn it off, and not reset things that you already turned on. But what if the default is on and you do then one off? Difficult. Normally my default is off and then I turn a few things on. And then if you load the override RC file, I would say if you have even a single channels on, then forget all the previous channels on. But the same then would hold for default of on and the single channels off. Yeah, I think in principle we just the code should do exactly what it already does, but under certain circumstances I should run over all channels and reset them, either turn them all on or all off, depending on. And ignoring that for now, this thing should just do what it is doing right now. Turns default set. Name, channels default already set in line. Okay, but the new RC file should accept this. So this must be reset for the new RC file. Although I kind of need to remember it, maybe. Maybe I don't. Maybe I do. I don't know. It looks like the only reason I have this boolean here is to print this warning. Yep, it's just reset the value. Okay, so we set it to on. Then everything except malloc and BFD is turned on. Because these are handled afterwards. I just set that to on. These booleans to on. Well, that completely resets it. So every debug channel is now on or off. If you repeat that setting. If it is off, then we turn everything off. And a toggle should just toggle it. Yeah, this warning also of even a fatal thing. It's an error. You should not toggle before you use the default set. Oh, but that's a problem. I was kind of like, well, you can read the original libc cwds file and then just toggle a few things. It doesn't really make sense though. Not really. But okay, if someone does that, then apparently in their eyes it makes sense. It's just the way you use it, I guess. So maybe I should allow it in that case. So I'm gonna allow it. Or maybe I should only allow it if see, that's what I mean. So I can't reset it. Let me see. Damn it. Let's do something else. Just make an array of it. I'm lazy. So if RC files is still 0, then this is just doing exactly the same as before. And if we are reading the second RC file, then RC files is 1. So then both entries must be 0, which means that neither entry has had a channels defaults yet. And then it is not allowed to use channels toggle, also not in the second one. So I think this is correct. And if we don't set a new default, but we do encounter channels on, and then that should reset, I think, everything to the previous default. So kind of depending on what the default is then. So the first time I encounter one of these, I want to reset all the channels as if this one is repeated. The channel's default. We see, so if the default is off and I do channels on, then they should all be turned off first, and then we do the on. And vice versa. Let me think. And that is only the case for the second one. Huh? I think. It's a bit complex, but okay. Hello, Code Sheep. I wrote it in the description. What is not clear about it? So view, the description is below the video. Just scroll down. I'm adding support for a second environment variable to read a second RC file, which then allows you to override the stuff from the previous RC file in one sentence. So if the original is, if the default is off and you use in the second RC file channels is on, then I want to begin with turning them all off. And only off. And then in this case on. And we do that if, well, one, the default must be off. So if default is off, and this is the first channels on in RC files equals 1. And then here this is the default is on, and this is the first channels off. That seems what I want. Seems to be what I want. Yeah. So how do I check what the default is? I guess that if you don't have a default, then yeah, that's what is the default? That is a good question. I have no clue, you know that? Guess I could test that. Write a quick test program to see what the current default is. Okay, can I do that quickly? Like, do we have a test here? We have tests. A hello world seems like one of the easiest things that we can use. Completely empty stuff. Let's see, the following calls will be done almost every program. Check configuration, agreed. If debug alloc, make all allocation invisible except null, whatever. Select channels, note that where on is used, off can be specified and vice versa. This just turns everything on. I don't want to do that. It's part of check, isn't it? Let's just compile it here. God knows. Package config. C flags, I guess. cwdr. Oh, no debug. Include no debug? What the hell? There isn't debug.h. Nobody includes no debug. No debug.h is distributed with a debug, but must be included in blah blah blah. So no, this was never compiled apparently. Package config path environment variable. cwdr.pc is not set. I think I have it installed, but probably somewhere in. I can just compile it and install it, I suppose. What the hell? I'm working on this. I'm working on it and it doesn't work anymore. Oh, wait a minute. That's why it was in a debug, wrapped in a debug thing. Let's write this, and then this fails, right? It got even worse. Okay. Yeah, I probably just want to test it with the old one. So maybe I should not install it. Oh, that was not a good idea. I think it is installed in install prefix set grep install prefix. So maybe you have it here. Nope. Let's pick another one then. I guess the most recent ones is what I want to use. Oh, that doesn't work. Without a D. So I'll pick that one. So 2025. I guess in lib. Where is that stuff? Yeah, package config. So I can do. No, I've got the name again. Package config path. Just to export package config path is wherever I have it installed in 2025. Lib package config. But then I want to link with that as well. So now I have to compile and then... Oh, then it's gonna work automatically, of course. Undefined reference to... okay, why is that? So this is missing, right? You have to link with libdw or something, I think. Yeah. The dependencies should be added, of course. It should just appear here in the libs of the package config. Have to fix that as well then. Okay, in the meantime we have h.out, which I now can test. So this just wait a minute. LD library path is, so the thing was installed here, lib, yeah, like that. Okay, what the hell? Oh, there's no underscore here, I think. Wait a minute, let me try it. Lib. Like that? Nah. Nah, that's not it. It is LD library path, isn't it? Okay, let's have a look what the right directory is. So there. Okay, I'm an idiot. What is it? Damn it! Is it not path? LD library path. I'm pretty sure it's LD library path. Don't tell me that it's dir. Do they export the thing? I had to export it. Yep. So this thing has BFD turned on, apparently, until it is turned off by silent. That is insanity to begin with. And this is also complete bullshit. It's loading itself and then saying I can't load debug info because it's not an ELF file. It's a symbolic link. Is that the problem? Is it not following symbolic links? Come on. That would be really stupid. No, none of them is all of them are symbolic links. It's nonsense. It's not a symbolic link. You gotta be kidding me, right? It's totally an ELF file. So apparently it doesn't even follow symbolic links. That doesn't make no sense whatsoever. Anyway, I wasn't even looking at that. I want to forget all about this. What we're retesting is... I want to know what the default is. So to begin, I want to get rid of this, yeah? And then I just read the RC file. And then I think this on here, that turned on the BFD channel. So this is just nonsense. And this list channels, it's all nice and dandy, but it should already be printed by the RC file, I think. The read RC file thing or not. But okay, it doesn't really harm to print that again anyway. And BFD is still on. Okay, now we're going to copy libcwd rc. I can't type libcwd rc to here. Doesn't even print which one it is loading. What it the okay, so I added this and we turn silent off. So that made a difference. But shouldn't it have been printing which RC file it is loading? I just saw that it should do that. Why is it not doing that? RC file name, and that's a fatal thing, of course. Okay. That's oh. What am I doing here? Hello is on. Hello world. The channels should be off, default. If I turn this on, it should not print this loading stuff. Or is that another variable? I remember vaguely that there is an environment variable for that. See if I can find that back. Print message about loading shared libraries. Even when this is done before cwds is turned on. Except when this is defined. So this is maybe defined now. I don't want it to be. Yep, that is set. That is why. Okay, let's turn that off. Still set. That's not how my environment should work. Should have been reset, but okay. Now it is reset. It's even so reset that we lost the LD library path. Dir path, correct one, with an export. Now we're talking. Everything is disabled except hello. Dot libcwds. So we now don't do this, then the question is the default off or on? The default is off, apparently, except for warning. Warning is now on. So the default is that everything is off except warning. Is that also the case if silent is off? Yep. Well, then our C file is on in the beginning. By default as well, apparently. But it was more, this is not really, it's just the silent thing. Right, okay, now we can go back here. So apparently it makes a little bit difference if it is set at all or not. But it should just do what it did before if it is not a second IC file. So I might as well begin with if this one. So only if RC files is one. We want to do something. And it should only be done the first time. So I need a new boolean. But yeah, what if we see, if I see a channel's on and this is not doing anything because of the dot dot dot, and then I see a channel's off, yeah, then I still want to reset it. But it means that in that case, yeah, you also lose all the previous channels ons. Ugh. So maybe it doesn't really matter if it is a channels on or off. Just the very first time I see either of them, I should reset everything. Let me think, what is the best thing to do? That's nonsense. If I see channels off, and then I see channels on, and we're going to do this, then we turn everything off. Which means that all the channels off that we saw already are also honored anyway. And vice versa. So this will work. I still have to fill in the dot dot dot. The dot 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 means that the default is off. This part. So now I want to detect what the default is, and it must be off. How do we do that? Wrong file. Hello, Lynch. So I have to also make a difference between having not seen any default at all. That is very close to off, but we make a difference for if we don't see anything at all, and we don't want to turn everything off. Or we want to turn everything off, but then but turn warning on. I think that was it. So let's add a boolean here which says warning on. So just turn everything off, but if warning on is true, then we turn warning on. This is the case where we just see a channel's default. So then it's either everything on or off, including warning. But in this case it might matter. So we want to turn it on if we didn't see any default at all. We do not see a default, and this is true, and therefore turn warning on is true. So we turn everything off, but warning is turned on in that case. The default is on or off, or we didn't see any at all. How do I do that? Let's begin with this one. Well, that is only relevant if this is set. So I might as well do both. Or no, maybe better to do a nesting here. So this is like a boolean AND. This has to be true and that has to be true. So at the moment that RC files is 1, then these two are both set. So this one must be unequal 0 and the other one as well. Sorry, not or, not and, but or. So one of them must have a channel's default. Then we saw default. And we want to turn everything off except warning if store default is false. So we did not see default, then we do want to turn everything off. But we did see default, then we want it also turn off if the default is on. And then here I have probably the same thing, as in we do another nesting here. If something. And then here we have the opposite, so it's more like default is off. The default is off, then we turn everything on. That's not the correct name, because if we do not do this, then we still saw a channels off. But I only want to set it if we actually reset stuff. So let's rename it to something with a better name. This should be something more like did reset channels on, channels on, off, on or off. And then, because this is past tense, we feel that it makes more sense to do it after we actually did it. Although it doesn't really matter, of course. Now what? Okay, I still have to find out now what the bloody default is then. It is the last one, if any. I don't think it's not stored inside channel's default set or not. That's just a line number where we found the default, the channel's default. See, it's just a line number. So we have to remember the last time we got here, which means that either set all channels on or set channels off was called. So we can put that thing outside. This boolean. Put it also outside this thingy here. Well, we don't know what it is. It's only initialized after this is set. If the compiler is not going to warn me, like, you're using something that is not initialized, then I rather not initialize it. Or you can initialize it like this. That kind of means like, let's suppress the warning, but I don't care what the value actually is, because we shouldn't use it unless I define it first. Or you could suppress the warning It's possibly maybe unused, you know, but let's just wait until we get a warning or not. And then I have to set that variable. Damn it! What variable? This variable on the channel's default. Here now it is set, and here we figure out what it is. Default is on, it's true. Default is on is false. We still a dot here. Default is off. Yeah, that's the opposite of default is on. No, I think I got it. Remains that has to compile as well. So the problem here is that I removed a debug around this, and that the DC is we're not in a namespace where DC hangs out. That is libcwd channels apparently. I thought I had a namespace for that though. This looks so wrong. Because you can change the namespace usually. Well, the user can change the namespace, but obviously not while compiling libcwd. But okay, so our C file is definitely in the namespace libcwd channels. And we are inside libcwd, so the only thing that I have to put in front of it is channels, for the RC file anyway. Except when it is in a macro debug, because that is using that namespace anyway. That's why the other ones were using debug, I suppose. Maybe we should put it in debug it again. Yeah. I won't. Another one. Warning is defined here, which is in namespace DC channels, and that channels is in libcwd again. So same thing, warning is in channels. Don't have a array. Shall I include array, or shall I just go for the C style stuff? Nah, this is C++. Let's use array. It compiles. crying out loud. Why? Oh, that's the old one. Wait a minute. Well, yeah, that's the old one. So this is not what I want. You want to compile it and then install it. And then it gets installed to this directory. Is that what I just used? No. So you have to use 207. And here as well. So with no default, the warning is on, and this one is put on. I could also use a toggle, I guess. Let's use a toggle on notice. See what happens. So I don't know. Let's just try everything out. Lib cwd. I see. Channel toggle used before channel's default. Cool. So that was not allowed. Okay, so we comment it out. Now this is put on. I had a toggle. No, I did not have a toggle. Okay, so this is good. And then I do we add the default but off. Then I can toggle. And now system should be turned on. Yep. And warning is now disabled because we have a default that is off. And then we can also use on. Hi Felix. Now everything is turned on except system and notice because I turned notice off and system was toggled. No, yeah. And then for each of these cases I want to test my second thingy. So let's say I call it 2. And I'm going to put in it channels on is well, let's say notice. That's interesting. No warning is turned on. So I did read this one. Oh, warning was already on. Yeah, it's still. So I have a default of on. And that should be retained. Well, no, that should have led to turning everything off. So this is just wrong. I want to compile it with debug info, but not debugging itself. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I just have to change this into debug. And we lost but how the hell is that possible? No, maybe as soon as I do a resource, it just resets the whole environment. This means I have to add this to an RC file for now, otherwise I lose everything all the time. That's a bit annoying. So let's add it to this. Or I could add an, let's add an inf.source in this directory, and I'm gonna add that. And these two. Okay, so now it's finding that one, which I just compiled and installed. And it should have debug output. This option causes English not to be followed. This is the default. If the variable pose is correct, is not defined. So I need the opposite of that. Oh, there's a dereference. So this is now with debug info not stripped. It's of course not super clear if it is compiled the optimization from here though. But yeah, that's scrolled off. Well, it should not have been optimized. Okay, so then I can do gdb.a.out. And then we set a breakpoint in what we were working on. To here. Okay, so this is the code that we have been working on, and it says force RC file on, get the name, and we read that. Okay, so we check if malloc is on and BFD. We begin with the RC file number 0. Open it, read it. Silence, yes, so silent is off, which means that RC file must be on, but we just turned it on, so this is not doing anything. Go to the next line. And then we are doing default. Channel's default is on, so that would be this one. Channel default set RC files. RC files is still 0. This is not set because it's the first time. And we set it to lines red, which is non-zero. And the value is on. So yes, we do this and we turn as a result all channels on. I'm gonna assume that works. Default is on is remembered. And it should be remembered, so I want to put a watch point on this to be sure that if it is turned on that I see that. Watch point on this address. Get the next line, and it is not silent. It is a channels on. Did it not print what it is? Yeah, here. Channels on hello. And yeah, then we have one more, I think. Channels off. Notice is turned off. And then we get a GDB, I think, or a Xterm or something like that. What was another one? Toggles, sorry. System is toggles. Turned off system. And then I still have an Xterm and a GDB line, so GDB is set here. And I have another one, which is Xterm is set. And then we have the last line was red, so you don't have a syntax error. So this is just false. Close it, and now we read that. Yes, we read it. So now name was changed to that file. And we go to the top again with RC files equals 1. Open that file. That only contains a single line, I think. Oh. Yeah, that's not good, of course. This file should be outside that loop because it remembers the value of the first time we went through the loop. So that's why it didn't work. 246. This must be outside the loop. This can be inside the loop, right? Because it's only done when RC files is 1 anyway. Well, only set to 1 when the RC files are already 1. The default is on, though. Depends, of course, also on it could happen in the previous RC file, so this should also be here. Yeah. Okay, I think this is correct because the second RC file turns on notice, and as a result everything was reset, including warning, of course, or yeah, it was already reset. While, say, I only toggle debug here, then we don't have an on or off. So now debug is toggled and the rest is left alone. So hello is still on, warning is still on. Why is warning on? Oh, everything is on now. The default is on. And debug is toggled, it's turned off. So we set the default to off, then warning should still be off as well. Yeah. But debug was now turned on because it is toggled. Now we have a lot of possible combinations if I really want to test everything. Because either I want to have this line or I don't want to have the line. If I have the line, it must be on or off. This doesn't have to change, but if we don't have a channels default, then we can't have a toggle. And then more or less the same thing in the other file. And then maybe interfering with everything. So, too many options. Instead of just brute force trying everything, I think I'm just going to try to intelligently test what makes sense to test. Meaning that yeah, if the default is off and I use just a toggle, that works, and on as well. So toggle just works. If forget toggle, I'm not even interested in toggling. It's just working. I mean, this is the initial file. In the second file, it also works. So forget toggle. And I have a turn on and off, and the order doesn't really matter. Although the off is bullshit because this is the initial file and it's off anyway. I mean, if it is off, then this is bullshit. And the order doesn't matter either. I mean, either the first one is doing nothing or the second one is doing nothing. Let's simply begin with not having a default. And then here I try the two possibilities using an on and an and or an off. It's also hard to decide what it should be. So no default, and I set something on. No default means more or less off, and then you do an on. That means that everything should be reset except warning. So in particular, we want hello to be off now and warning must be on. So in the end, debug and warning must be on, and the rest must be off. Debug and warning is on, and the rest is off. Oh, that worked. And then if I do instead off something, let's say I turn hello off, because that was on. Now this should not have an effect. So we have still this, but hello is turned off. Hello, hello, hello. So this must be turned off. That means that debug must be on and system must be on. And everything is on. Because the default is on. Why is everything on? No, the default is no default, it means everything is off. So I think that as a result, now everything was turned on because I did an off while the default was off. The default is off and I do an off. That's bullshit. To think this off results now in everything on. That should not happen. So if I don't do anything, then what happens? See, then it isn't turned on. I should just be able to use this, but then turn hello off. So this is not working. So now the second RC file reads channels off. And then it decides to turn everything on. Let's see, did reset channels on? Did reset channels on or off? Did reset channels on or off, I think. It's a bit vague name still. cfiles is 1, yes, we did not do that yet, because it's just the first line. And then it should not do this, but it does do that, because it thinks that the default is on. But it's not true. Why do we get here? We don't have a default at all. I need to have I need to use a saw default as well then. I think it's reading an undefined value. This thing was not initialized at all. So in this case, this is also relevant. Did we see a default at all? If I did not see a default, then I should treat the default as off, I think. Maybe I should just initialize default as on too often. So I did not initialize it, but actually it's well, no, wait a minute. Well, yeah, okay, we're gonna do that. Really vague, really vague. I mean, default is on really reads like there was a channel's default and it was set to on. So it's more like we didn't see a default here and then we want to do the same thing as if default is off. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So only if saw default and the default is not on. We want to do that. So it says turned off hello. Maybe we should add debug output for this, so I don't have to manually check if everything is how I expect it to be. Because I thought that if we commented this out, there were multiple things on. Warning is on. Melk is, no, only warning and hello. Okay, so if I turn off hello, warning should still be on. Oh, and it is on. Okay, it works. Ta-da! But yeah, it's not a bad idea to add that, I think. It's not really default. But on the other hand it is. And census end on a dot. Oh yeah. Oh, what the hell? Our C file. Yeah, I think it works. Good. I see text. Felix says, goal towards God. The unlimited everlasting universe. Maybe you should read the first one as well. How would I make a Wikipedia tree graph with instructions for every product and item and relate it to its direct resource cost, and then make a 3D towards each goal towards God? How many tokens is that? Okay, I don't know. It looks like you're trying to ask an artificial intelligence an nonsensical question. And I am not an artificial intelligence. Or there is no artificial intelligence. Maybe I am the real artificial intelligence. But for the rest, you only have LLMs. Let's commit this thing and then end the stream, because I should have been in bed already, like 2 hours ago. So I got that right. That initially you typed that for an LLM. Yay. I'm still not completely stupid. I committed it. Let's push it. So you have a new master, and then the question is, will I use it? If I do, for example, if I use this. Highly doubtful. If, for example, I say just configure, it's going to totally skip over libcwd, I bet. Yeah, I don't see a utils. Where's libcwd? Yeah. Is it libcwd? No. Well, it has a root. It is already installed. It's not considering syncing the existing Git repository of libcwd with whatever master is at that moment, because I thought that would use too much bandwidth. So you kind of have to manually do that. But if my memory is working, and it isn't, then it should be sufficient to remove the done. There's a done thing somewhere. So where's my root? Here. So I think this directory has a done in it, and if I remove that, then maybe it will actually try to update it. To try now, run configure. Yeah. I'm not sure though. Let's see. Stuff is happening here, right? Installing. So class RC file was basically the only thing that we changed. And it has reinstalled it. So definitely seems to have updated the stuff. Installing. Yeah, must have worked, right? I'm trying to do get libcwr, get tag master, CMake warning. So there is something to fix here. Calling fetch content populated git package libcwd-rc is deprecated. Call fetch content make available instead. I guess that's part of gitash. Yeah, well, we have to do that as well. No, I should go to bed. But I can't go to bed while we have orange on my screen. This, and that is called stack gitash core. Okay, so where do we have gitash core? Probably should just check that out. Git clone. Repositories. Gitash core, I mean, not clone. And the problem was the use of this thing. No, beats me. I don't have a populate. What is it talking about? Well, maybe it is guitars itself then, I don't know. Clone, guitars. It's almost nothing. How is that possible? Pitch content declare. Is that not the problem then? Populate. Maybe the declare calls populate. Anyway, there's nothing here, right? It's just so short. So we have a message with a debug level output. Is that not already turned on? Yeah, it should be turned on. Oh. No, bullshit. Nothing to do with this one. Oh. Damn it. This error was so vague. It should be possible to find out who is calling fetch content populate. That it should be called from here. Test score. Fetch content populate, yeah. I couldn't find it back. Yeah, what? Is this maybe just an old guitar score or something? So I just checked it out. Git package.cmake. Fetch content populate. Package.cmake. Yeah, already changed that apparently. That's kind of weird then, isn't it? Why would it not try to update the guitars itself? Ooh, bad. That's no good. Oh, I'm using stable. Well, definitely time to update stable then. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, okay, I'm not starting to get it now. Well, anyway, it's using stable from git-git. So I have to clone it again and then fix that, make stable the current one, because I've been using it for a while and it's definitely better than. It's clearly better than the other one. Than the stable one. It should replace that like 5 years ago probably. So git clone. Okay, I give up. Oh, there it is. Git clone, gitash, cd gitash, git branch, master. Right, so you git fetch everything. Oh, what the hell? There is no stable. What? No. Is it a tag then maybe? There is no tag. How do you fetch tags? Git fetch tag or okay, I don't know. Fetch help. There's a no tags by default. Where's my note? By default, tags at the point to view are downloaded. Tags. Just fetch the bloody tags. Okay, now I'm flabbergasted. I can't go to bed now like this. I just can't. So we go to repositories and then to gitash. Yeah, there is a stable that just exists. How the hell can I not get that branch? What bullshit is this? This is this. Karawood Kitash. Karawood Kitash. And this thing does have a stable branch. We don't even have tags, okay. And then if you do Gitash fetch all, it should get all branches. And it doesn't. Why? No, then it says GitHub because I told it to use GitHub. And exactly in this case, it's not. We're gonna rename it. Remote, rename, origin. Oh, that's because I just cloned it. Normally I already had that done. And it's wrong. Okay, let's do the all here then maybe. I don't think you can combine them actually. And nothing. There it is. This is what I was looking for. How could I not find it? It's in this CMake file. Never thought about looking there. Yeah, it's about the only other file that I didn't look at yet. Okay, so this must be updated to what I think is stable. And then the question is if there is there more that changed? I'm just going to reset the whole thing to master. So basically we are now in stable, and I want to do git merge master. Already up to date. Whatever. Didn't look like it, like this. But the master is unstable. Yeah, okay. So, but doesn't look like they are the same, I must say. No, stable. No, stable is more than master. Right, but stableness is maybe then something that master doesn't have. Also doesn't make any sense. Does master not have an S stuff? I guess master is using master. Let's try that. Let's have a look at that then. So if we switch to master, and then I'll look in CM. Yeah, that's using master. Okay, master using master, and stable is using this specific thing, and then I must keep, well, yeah, okay, I get it. So now we go here, and then I clone. Would be nice if the clone was close. There. The keytype core again. Okay, there's only one branch. And I'm gonna call this one stable. So do we have tags here? Let's try that. Git fetch tag tags. No tags, okay. No tags. Yeah, it was already changed. Okay, so this one is a stable one now. Copy. And I go back to keytash. Git branch. Git switch. Stable. Edit the file that has to be edited. That was cmake. And change the SHA into that one. Now I think I did it. Now stable was changed, so if now I go here and I just type configure, it should automatically update everything. I'm not sure it did. Keytype score is already at. And what was I trying to use? E425. Ah. Then, oh wait a minute, it's using, no, huh, what? If I have this checked out, it should be using the local one, so I have to remove it, sorry. It didn't look like it did do that though. So we remove this again, because everything was pushed and everything, yeah, alright, okay. Configure. Now it does a checkout of E425. Very good. And now it says it was updated, reloading that. Again that. Now it is okay, it updates it and then it says it is there already. And then we got a warning here, so if now I remove the done again, then we should no longer see that warning. Okay, I think that was fixed now. And then there is something here though. You can only have that target once, and the target is already used by libcwr. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, I'm just gonna. I said an hour ago. I have to go to bed 2 hours ago. Passing arguments to a function with that's something that is not mine, right? Or it's resolve a task, but this DNS is not mine. Nevertheless, I could fix it, I guess, or at least send an email to the maintainer of this DNS thing. The deprecated stuff is... it should not happen. Only deprecated declarations. That's a fucking clang. If I only had known that. But GCC should apply to both. Okay, this is something that only applies to clang. That would simplify things a bit. Didn't even know that. Clang doesn't have deprecated declarations warning, but apparently it does. Well, that's confusing. So apparently this works. Seemed to work. Verbose is off. Doesn't look like it. Seems very verbose to me. Why does never, nothing ever work? No, it works. And it started recompiling everything again? So what did it before then? Different compiler, yeah, I don't know. My environment wasn't correct. You don't want to compile this on a laptop. Holy moly. Well, you can hear the fan of my PC spinning up. So that was a 300 watt recompile. That still takes this time. But that's utils, yeah. This is C++. Okay, so I think before we were using clang then. And I really have to test if that new warning now works or not. No, this is CC cache. At least that's fast. This is the DNS thing again, so I have to fix that. But otherwise, that warning worked. It's not giving a warning. So, where was that? Here. So we now don't do this, but I just do the same thing. Is it then suddenly no longer working or what? Oh, there was a backslash that we didn't have. Oh, that's bullshit. Nah, let's just test this anyway. Oh, that's not needed, right? I have no clue, but apparently both compilers support this. So I don't need this thing. I can just use whatever normally I would use, which is the one at the bottom. this, and then with so you want to do pragma, see GCC diagnostic ignored, and then the warn option. Let's just look at an example, I suppose. I never used that before. Okay, that's great. I'm gonna assume that I just have to pass it like that. So we want to pass this to that. Where now I'm passing this. Gotta be kidding me, right? Oh, okay. I think I'm grabbing my source, but I'm not grabbing the generated file. So it's in build here. Somewhere in build here. That one. Deprecated declarations. So this should be that, I think, with this. Nope. Expected string literal in Pragna diagnostic. No. Then maybe I have to put quotes around it. Yes. Okay, so this is the answer. That works. Another warning bites the dust. It keeps creating those XML files now. Yeah. Okay, so I did update libcwd, and now we can use another environment variable, which I'm not using yet, but I'm going to bed now.